What if I told you that the fiercest, most expensive, and dirtiest war in American history didn't involve soldiers, but three incredibly rich businessmen fighting over a metal we all use every single day? This is the unbelievable true story of the War of the Copper Kings, a vicious corporate conflict that turned a thriving Montana mining town into a literal battleground. This story begins not in a boardroom, but beneath the rugged mountains of Butte, Montana in the late 19th century. Butte was literally the richest hill on Earth. For a time, it produced more wealth than any other place in the world, not from gold or silver, but from copper. Copper was the new gold. The electric age was dawning, and every wire, every bulb, and every telephone line in America needed copper. Three men, known as the Copper Kings, fought for total control of this unimaginable fortune. First, there was Marcus Daly, the genial Irishman, a self-made immigrant who had the best mines and was initially the kingpin. He controlled the powerful Anaconda Copper Mining Company. Next, there was William A. Clark, a ruthless, dapper former prospector, meticulous and universally disliked. Clark's ambition was not just to control the copper, but to become a U.S. senator. He saw the mines as a personal treasury to buy his way into Washington. And finally, the scrappy underdog, Augustus Hines, a brilliant, Harvard-educated mining engineer who used complex, often predatory legal maneuvers to challenge the giants. The war began as a legal and financial slugfest. Hines, with his shrewd legal team, exploited an ancient, obscure mining law called the Apex Rule, which essentially said if you owned the top of a mineral vein, you could follow that vein wherever it went, even under your competitor's property. Hines would sue Daly or Clark, paralyze their operations with injunctions, and then force them to buy him out at outrageous prices. But the rivalry soon spilled out of the courtroom and into the streets and mine shafts of Butte itself. This wasn't just corporate espionage, this was industrial violence. In the depths of the mines, armed miners working for Hines or Daly would literally battle each other. They used dynamite to blast through mine walls, flooding competitor tunnels with water, and even lowering cages full of angry workers for a subterranean brawl. Men were regularly injured, sometimes killed, in these underground fights over the exact location of a copper vein. The war escalated into a political firestorm that consumed the entire state of Montana. The Copper Kings didn't just buy mines, they bought newspapers, they bought politicians, and they even bought a state capital. Daly and Clark fought tooth and nail over where the state capital should be located, Helena or Daly's Anaconda, pouring obscene amounts of cash into the 1894 election, with Daly spending so much that one contemporary called it the greatest concentration of political wickedness that the world has ever seen. The most shocking escalation came in 1903. Hines' legal maneuvering had become so successful that Daly's company, now controlled by the formidable Standard Oil, could no longer operate. In response, they launched a counterattack. A Republican governor, allied with Daly's interests, declared martial law across the state, using the state militia to shut down Hines' mines. Butte, a major American city, was under military occupation not for a foreign invasion, but because two corporations were fighting over mineral rights. The final act of the war involved the wealthiest man in America, J.P. Morgan. Morgan, realizing the insanity of the situation, orchestrated a brutal financial takeover. Using the massive financial power of his trust, he essentially bought all three kings out. Daly was already deceased, Clark was forced to sell most of his interests, and Hines, the legal mastermind, was offered a staggering $12 million, tens of billions of today's money, to leave Montana for good. Hines took the money and, astonishingly, moved to New York to try and break J.P. Morgan's financial monopoly. He failed spectacularly in 1907, contributing to a massive market crash, but for a moment, the man who had fought a war for a decade beneath a single Montana hill tried to take on the whole American financial system. The War of the Copper Kings ended with one victor, the Anaconda Copper Mining Company, which consolidated power and essentially ruled Montana as a company state for the next 50 years. It's a jaw-dropping true story, a testament to the incredible fortunes generated by America's Industrial Revolution and the astonishing, no-holds-barred viciousness of the men who fought for control of the electric age. It reminds us that sometimes the true, untold history of America is stranger and more violent than any fiction. If you've been captivated by the saga of the War of the Copper Kings and you're eager to unearth more hidden historical treasures, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our community on History of the Past. We delve deep into compelling narratives, bringing the events of yesteryear back to life. Your support helps us create more content like this, so don't forget to like, comment, and share the journey.